We got the candle in the background. Today's video is going to be on ways to cope, relax, release that stress, tension, whatever you're feeling. Meditation pillow.
Hold on, I don't got a time today. Money on my mind, nigga, I got to grind today.
Yeah, so this video is going to be about like 9 of the major things that I use to cope. And I just want to like lay this disclaimer. If you need actual help or you feel like the pain's too much or any kind of feeling that you have, like go to a doctor, go to a therapist. Because these are just coping methods. They can save your life, but I wouldn't want to say that this is the only way to go or this is something that you have to do. And there is no other alternative because there's so many other things that other people can do. And if you have any other ideas, like link it below or give what you use to cope down below. But yeah, starting off, number 1, voice memos. This is so underrated, but honestly one of my favorite things to do. Like whenever I'm feeling like someone's not going to understand what I'm saying, or I don't even really know how to relay my thoughts, just literally, there's this app on iPhone, Android, all the phones have it. I think it could be called Memos on Samsung, on Androids, but on iPhone it's voice memos. Just literally have it open, hit record. You could be just sitting down. What I would do was every day I would go to the gym. My gym was 10 minutes away, so I knew I would have like 10 minutes of like that time to just debrief with myself, and I would just speak about my day, and I'll put some videos that I had. This was like 3 years ago, and what it helped me with was just kind of stringing together my thoughts and just being able to like riff and just speak about things like way more clearly and just go into my emotions and just how I was feeling and what was going on in my head. So yeah, this is a voice memo of mine that I made. The date's right there and everything. September 20th, 2018. I'm gonna play it. I'm just gonna react to it.
Yeah, this is just me being able to get my throat is a little bit better.
Just me riffing.
I just finished meditation. Honestly, when you meditate, I just feel so calm. Feels like I took Ritalin. You guys call it, in America they call it Concerta. No, they call it Adderall. Yeah, I just feel focused. I remember it was like grade 10 grade 10 and 11. My friend Bradley had Concerta. I wouldn't have been lying. I took that shit for biology with Mr. Ridley. I fucking hate that guy. He did not teach, and he wanted us to do all this fucking work. I hated that shit.
Because sometimes for me, especially, it's like hard to speak to someone directly, like with what you're going through. And last thing that I want to touch on about voice memos is it also like you get to understand yourself on another level, because we're all speaking, but you think you sound a certain way, but hearing your voice playing back and you listening to your thoughts, even me listening to my thoughts and my problems that I had 2 years ago, it's just crazy to see how sometimes maybe those same problems come up, or just how far that you advance. Because like journaling and diary, like writing stuff down is good, and I've used that in the past, but it's almost this like barrier for me to like open up my page and open up the book that I need to, my journal that I need to write everything in. Whereas just voice memos is, I always have my phone, I can just crack it open, hit record, easy as that. So there's almost this like therapeutic nature of what you're going through. And I also like understood that your emotions are just in flux. One day you might be feeling the most sad you've ever felt. Literally the next day you could feel on top of the world. But when you start to notice that your emotions are always gonna go through these waves of up and downs, you'll just start to like relax and just accept the way that you're feeling for how it is. Number 2, I actually found this scrolling Instagram. It's called Nostril Breathing. And what you're gonna do is just cover your one nostril and literally just breathe in as hard as you can and out as hard as you can. Like, you're gonna do 10 breaths on one side, 10 breaths on the other side. Literally do it with me while I'm doing this right now. Like, you're gonna feel a change and shift in your body temperature and just your head. You almost get this rush, and your whole nasal passage just like releases. I don't know the like metaphysical of how like it actually works, but I know it works for me. It might be placebo, but this shit works. I'm gonna do the other side. Follow along with me. Yeah. Number 3 is affirmations. I know a lot of people do this in all sorts of ways. They might have little phrases or words that they say, but I have this vision board. I actually might make a whole video breakdown on this. But my whole vision board is called SBA. I got it from this course I'm taking, and it stands for See, Believe, Achieve. But yeah, at the end of that worksheet, I have my affirmations at the end. And what I do is have my literally my affirmations. I'm gonna show you guys right here. I have my affirmations right there, and I have them right there. Get a journal, literally write down each affirmation in the journal, put the date of like me writing it. So when I come back to the page, so let's say I skipped like 3 days or 4 days, it's like, oh shit, I haven't been consistent with this. Let's like get consistent. And then you start to see the repetition of you doing it, and just you get into that feeling. And I do this like by starting off my day. I work remotely, so before I open my computer, I like just write down the affirmations, and that's a good way to just like set that intention for the day and like, why am I doing what I'm doing for the day. Number 4 is something that I don't really do as much as I would. I don't want to say like, but I just don't do it as much. The next one's actually gonna like tie into this, but it's praying. And when I do pray, I don't know whether you guys like believe in God. Like, I do believe there is a God. You might believe in the universe or whatever spiritual backing that you have, but just like speaking to a higher power or speaking to someone that's more significant than yourself, almost weighs, like, you get this weight off of your shoulders when you're doing that, and you feel like you're not alone, because as much as we might feel like we are alone in this world, you're not alone like with God. And I truly believe that this is one of the things that I need to do way more. I don't do it as much. Number 5 is meditate. This is like one of my favorite things to do. There's times where I feel like I don't want to do it at all, but I just I have this app that I use, Insight Timer. Just set my timer for 10 minutes. I have this like Bosu Bowl little bell on my phone that rings to start it off. Yeah, so I usually come sit down here on the floor, yoga mat, meditation pillow, and just get into a groove, you know? And I remember when I first started meditation, it's crazy, like going into my meditation journey, I used to think it was this big thing that I had to like do. Like, now I'm meditating and now like I can't think of anything, or my mind has to be completely silent and I only have to focus on my breath. Like, that's not true. And there's so many different forms of meditation that you can do. There's guided, there's yoga meditation, all different types of guided meditation that you can just dive into even further. But I just do it straight up, just like plain 10-minute, no sounds. And my like main intention when I meditate is just to go back to my breath. So the thoughts that are coming in, no matter what they are, I let them come in and just like feel those thoughts, but then just like I imagine a highway and I'm just exiting off each time like I have a thought. Like each time I have a thought, it's like I'm going back onto the highway, go on the highway for a little bit, but then like exit off and go back to my breath, keep going back to my breath. So if you can like picture that, that feeling of just going back to your breath. Another thing that helped me like focus when I was meditating was doing 10 seconds, 5 seconds in through your nose, like count to 5, and then 5 seconds holding your breath, and then 5 seconds releasing. And that would kind of like help the time go by faster. It's crazy because I've done like hour-long meditations and that's just like pure stillness. And when you meditate sometimes, like this, I know this happens to people too, and it's happened to me before too. You almost, like when I close my eyes, my eye ducts like get fill and I start crying. And I think it's just like your body releasing pent-up emotion that you're holding in. It could be a numerous amount of things. I haven't really looked into it, but that's like what I think it is for me. Number 6 is Wim Hof. And Wim Hof is the guy who made the Wim Hof method. And this is a like method he got from Eastern philosophies that he took from like India, China, and it's comprised of like 3 different things: cold therapy, breath work, and then mindset. And I think the mindset is specifically with like stretching and that kind of thing. But the things that I focus in on, and I'm gonna have a certified Wim Hof instructor on a podcast pretty soon to just go more in depth about the Wim Hof method and like how they like founded it. So just take this as like a surface level thing, and you can do more research. I'm gonna leave links below. But the things that I focus on in the Wim Hof method is like the breath work and a little bit of the cold therapy. But with the breath work, I do 30 breaths in through my nose and like pursed lips, like out through your mouth. Do that 30 times in through my nose and out through my mouth, and then hold your breath for as long as you can, and let go. You're gonna hold your breath for another 15 seconds, and that's 1 round. I do that 2 times. I know sometimes like he recommends like three rounds, but it's just like what works better for me, like doing 2 rounds of that. And just the feeling you get after, like insane. When I've had like certain illnesses or just certain ways that I was feeling, anxiety wise, just so many different things, it's helped me with so much. Just my mindset, everything. I've never done Wim Hof, I've never meditated, and I felt worse than when I had gone into that session that I was doing. And I know it's just so good, and that's why I'm doing this video for you guys. Like, I hope you like really dive into this knowledge and at least just try it once, because I know what it's done for me, and I know what it will do for you guys. But the trick about like any of these coping ways to cope that I'm giving you is like you have to like be consistent with these things. Or even if you try like different things, like play around with like what you gravitate towards. But in the beginning, it's gonna seem like weird and uncomfortable. But once you get past it and you like stick to that routine, like for me now, like if I go, there was like months, and I'll also put my track record of like me meditating and doing Wim Hof. Like there's days that I skip. There's a week will go by and I haven't done it, but I always like result going back to it, because I know the effects that I have, and just like the after effects that I have doing it versus not. Yeah, crazy stuff, guys. Insane stuff. Yeah, it's nighttime right now, 10 p.m. Pretty cold right now, but I'm also gonna do a daytime shot of just what this area looks like. Turtles, fish, just this amazing pond. 5 minutes away from where I live. Just come here and meditate, do Wim Hof. It's always cold. I mean, it's always quiet here. No one's ever really here, so it's always just like such a tranquil, amazing spot just to like be at peace and just be with myself, like sit in my thoughts and just be present to the moment with myself. Number 7 is reading. Now this is like one that I struggle with sometimes, but when I am consistent with it, it's just like I like picture myself as like Batman, and I'm just like adding all this knowledge from people that like I've never written a book. You're putting in such effort, and sometimes it's your life's work into this book, and it's like refined knowledge. Most of the time it's like refined knowledge. So I picture myself as Batman, and I'm adding things just to my utility belt. Like, you're not going to absorb all the information, but it's just the process of you starting something and finishing something, and you're constantly getting different perspectives. So you might have like read something in a different way, but reading a different kind of book, just like you could resonate with the message differently in a different title. So it's still something that I like always go back to. And when it's funny when I like don't read and then I start reading again, it's like, why am I not doing this more? And it's just always something that like helps me all the time. Number 8 is Earl Nightingale. Now this is a motivational speaker who is speaking like in the 50s. I'm sure you guys have heard of the book, The Secret. They also made a movie, documentary about The Secret. And from my understanding and what research I've done, Earl Nightingale was like one of the first like people that I've heard of describe The Secret. And he just like in the speech, it's a 30-minute speech, and he just goes over why people aren't successful, what like mindset you need to have to be successful, and he just summarizes it so much. So in the mornings, what I would do is just like listen to it. Maybe sometimes I wouldn't go through the whole speech, but I just listen to it again and again. And it's crazy. In the speech, he says, if you can like listen to this like for 30 days in a row and just like be in that intention of whatever your goal is and whatever you want to achieve, you can achieve that goal. And it's like making it a small, like minute goal. For me, it was like meditating every day. I didn't listen to his speech for 30 days consistently. I still haven't done it. That's the crazy part about this. I still haven't listened to his speech consistently for 30 days. But when I still like finished meditating though for 30 days. But anyways, like listening to his speech for 30 days just like gives you that oomph and just direction when you feel lost. Just the examples he goes into in the speech are insane, and I've never heard of anyone like summarize what it takes to be successful and like what pitfalls you have going through success. So it's Earl Nightingale. His speech is The Strangest Secret by Earl Nightingale. And the final one is exercise. This could be whatever exercise that you gravitate towards. For me, my biggest things are running, playing basketball, and going to the gym. Like, those are things that I gravitate towards the most. And I would include this Kundalini yoga. Like, that's like another, I want to make a whole video on that. Just what the effects Kundalini yoga has had on me. But like, make exercise. I know everyone says go exercise, go for a run. But even going for a walk, as small as like it sounds, it just changed. There's just something about it. It just changes your consciousness and the way you were thinking. Even if you're like in a heated situation, like me going for a walk or just like releasing my pain or anxiety or just like happiness or pent up emotion through exercise has literally been the difference in so many like facets of my life. During quarantine and COVID couldn't go to the gym, couldn't play basketball, was just doing at-home exercises on YouTube like the rest of the world was. But without exercise, I realized I just feel like a slob. I just feel like a slob if I don't exercise. And I know a lot of people like didn't grow up playing sports and like weren't athletes growing up, so it is harder for them to get into that routine of exercise. But like whatever it is, even if it's just 10 minutes of walking a day, you're doing some sort of exercise, it helps. And yeah, those are my 9 ways to cope. Obviously I'm not always consistent with it, but I always resort back to these 9 things, and I feel at peace when I'm hitting all those things, like as many, because usually I don't do all of them. I'd be lying if I said I did all of them. But if I can hit most of those things in a day, like I know I'm having a productive day, and I know I'm feeling good. Because I think you can be productive, but you're not feeling good. When I do these like 9 things, I feel amazing. Next video, I want to jump into like Kundalini and like really dive deeper into that, because that's like something that just like brightens up your spirit. It's even more powerful than yoga in my opinion. But yeah, if you guys could shoot down below and like give me a like and subscribe, take some time to edit these videos, and yeah, I do it for just the creative process of like letting go. And I enjoy this process of helping people and just like also helping myself. This is my creative outlet, and if anyone watched till the end, again, I appreciate you. And 2022, let's go.